Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome to Monero Mining with Charlie, group mining of Monero. I think this is super interesting, and I'm very excited to hear from Charlie about this. I'm for those of you that don't know me, I'm Francene Loomiller, and I have sort of an interesting background. I did spend close to 20 years in the financial industry, trading stocks for very large hedge funds and mutual funds. And I took about 10 years off to be with my kids. I've always been super passionate about health too, so I'm also a holistic nutritionist. And but I always said if I went back into the financial industry, it would be to help the individual investor and pretty much anything alternative that gets us out of these systems that really, I believe, seek to keep us stuck and sick and broke. I'm all about. So crypto just was a natural evolution of that in the blockchain. So I've been in this space for a little over a couple of years, pretty heavily, building my own portfolio, and then eventually looking at different, passive income generating platforms, and starting to share and, offer that as well to my health community and other people that come on board that also want to get out from under some of these old systems. So with that in mind, I'm going to introduce Charlie Stevers. Stevers or Stivers?
Divers.
Stivers. I knew it when I said it. I'm like, wait a minute, I think it's
hmm
Stivers. So Charlie Stivers, who I met last year at just a networking event here locally in Colorado, and we were like the only people in the crypto talking about the crypto stuff, and really less than only about 80% of the less than 80% has any kind of exposure to this space at all, and it is happening. I'm telling you, all big industries on the blockchain, and it's happening. So today I'm Charlie is actually been in the financial services industry for a long time too. He actually has a 2-decade long career helping people with their financial options. And now he too is focusing on digital assets, how you can add those to your portfolio to position yourself for this future growth we're going to see. And he does that through education, consulting, mining, and we'll talk about this a little later. He's a publisher of Goose magazine, which is pretty cool. So with that, I am going to get started here with Charlie. And, Charlie, why don't you just give us first a little bit about your background and what led you to this space as well?
Yeah, my background actually started when I was a child. I grew up on a farm. My dad was big into investing, self-reliance, entrepreneur. So started out just doing 25 bucks a month in good old New Century mutual funds back in the day. Um, Unfortunately, he passed when I was 23. There was 7 of us kids. He had a little bit of life insurance. When I was in college around this time, I was a big techie and I loved business. It literally felt like Alex P. Keaton walking around with the business section. But when he passed, I wanted to honor him. So I took a portion of that and put it in the .coms back in the day and did very, very well. It was pretty easy to do that back then. And then 2001, I enjoyed it so much, I got professionally licensed. And I did that for 17 years. I wrote a book on Social Security and retirement income strategies. Yeah, super sexy subject there, but it was much needed, and did a lot of classes and speaking, built a great business just on doing dinner seminars. So that's the abridged version. And had a sidestep into cannabis investing. I mean, what a nightmare. And, we pulled together about $500,000 and it was just awful, lost it all. I got my licenses taken away. Full disclosure, just part of my story. If you Google me, marijuana advisor admits to fraud, because the regulations with being licensed with federal licensing, you have to disclose everything. And I knew my employer wouldn't allow it, so I kept my mouth shut. And because I didn't tell them, they considered that fraud. So it's regulatory fraud. What was great about the process is they saw we weren't stealing money. I just didn't tell them, and they wanted to make an example out of me. So, that's my blemish, part of my story, and moving forward, learn from it. 2020 lockdowns, I was like, all right, I can finally focus on Bitcoin and Ethereum, and bought my first coins around April 2020 and fell in love with it. Went down every rabbit hole I could. I bought Bitcoin magazine, read all kinds of stories and books. I hired a mentor to help speed up my learning process and help eliminate errors, which was a wise investment. If if many of you are in the traditional side of crypto, you know it's easy to mess up. So, we can just be profitable in crypto if you avoid the mistakes. So part of that is scamming, part of that is losing these passwords, keywords, and all those things. So, my pitch when I introduce myself to people is I help people get started in crypto the right way, which is safely, confidently, so they can be profitable. And that's kind of where everything grew from there. But along this journey in 2020, I just started sharing my results on social media, and we gathered a small group, a community called cryptocurrencyforthepeople.com. That website's still up. And then after lockdowns became to open up again, I went to an Achieve Business conference here in Denver, and one of the speakers was talking about how print magazines, are making a comeback. And I'm like, ooh, there's no crypto magazine out there. So my entrepreneurial spirit kicked in, and just started, thinking on it. Went on a road trip with my son cross country, and this name Goose came to mind, and I'm like, ooh, that's kind of fun. And I think there was a little subconscious Top Gun Maverick that played into that. But as I was playing with Goose, I'm like, ooh, the golden goose, the fable. Um, you know, we want to help people find the next golden goose in crypto, but we also want to keep that goose alive. Like in the fable, the farmer killed the goose because he got greedy. So now we have all these opportunities to share best practices along with these amazing stories of innovation and leaders, founders. So that's where this is kind of all grown into on the publication and media side. And then on top of that, in my financial career, I was a big believer in Robert Kiyosaki, which Rich Dad Poor Dad, and then Cash Flow Quadrant. But the whole premise is the wealthy buy and invest in income producing assets, right? For passive income. And there's tons of quotes out there about passive income, but that was a big part of it. I bought a dry cleaning business back in 2006. My ex-wife still has that. So when I took those principles and applied it to crypto, I'm like, well, what's going on in the passive income space? I knew Bitcoin mining was one thing. Helium mining came about. I'm sure a lot of you have probably come across that if you're involved in crypto in some way, but it's basically the little boxes for IoT connectivity and transmission that you get rewards on. And it's still a thing. And we'll see how that develops. But Internet of Things, or IoT, is going to be a big part of blockchain technology. And the other aspect we have, and I think a lot of you experience it as well, is DeFi, or decentralized finance. So there's ways that we can buy, stake, or yield farm to generate passive income, or yields that can be a lot better than depositing your money just at the bank, right? So there's a lot of profit left over if we cut out the middleman. And so that was a really cool endeavor. And, at one point it was making $400 a day just in passive income with very little staked. So that was, very intriguing. And then along this journey of just, paid attention to this passive income side, I also own nodes. One of the companies featured in the magazine is Constellation. So we have a node that's generating passive income. There's presearch.com. That's another one. We have 3 nodes there. And these are all companies that I look for in my criteria is like, hey, who's going to be around in the next 2, 5, 10 years and has a chance to be the next Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Apple of this blockchain technology, which, you'll hear these terms called Web3 or the fourth industrial revolution. And that's what I'm excited about in this whole tech revolution. And my whole premise is, I want it to be simple for people. This is all just the evolution of the internet. So, and blockchain is going to be a big solution and affect all these other industries, make it more efficient, more secure, actually involve the user base and reward the user base for participating. So that's kind of where we are today.
Oh, that's awesome, Charlie. Yeah, I learn new stuff about you all the time. So it's super cool. And there's going to be people in this call that are brand new to not knowing anything else. So how would you just define the Internet of Things?
Right. It's a device connectivity. So you know how Bluetooth, you can just sync up when you're close by. Well, Internet of Things is called LoRaWAN, so long ranged wide area network. And
Mm.
that's basically, Wi-Fi on steroids, where now all of these devices, and the best example are the scooters that you guys see around the cities. Those have devices on there, IoT, and you know how you see the trucks or the vans going around and gathering up and then resetting them up? Well, they can find those because of IoT technology. And it's basically device-device connections or data transmission. So
Mhm.
that's basically IoT.
Thank you. Yeah, I just find that also fascinating. So why Monero? Why this group Monero mining pool? What brought you? Because I know, those of you that know me, I'm very like heart and mission driven. I really want to help people and projects that have a mission behind them too, to help people as well. Really put people before profits. We're not just, looking to take people's money. We want legitimate, valuable, long-term ways to grow our capital and also earn cash flow, So talk about that a little bit, Charlie.
Yeah, I do have a presentation, but while I'm setting that up, if we can get a little participation from the group, and in the chat, if you can just say a scale from 1 to 5, 5 being very experienced in crypto and 1 just starting out, if you guys could put that in there, that would kind of help gauge my thoroughness in this presentation. It is a bit technical, so hopefully you won't find it boring, but it's pretty intriguing on the opportunity. So I'll just preface this that Bitcoin has been mined since 2009 when it started as a proof of work concept, and it first started out as a CPU mining rig, which means a regular old computer, right? And then it graduated up to GPU, and that was more like the gaming, and now it's ASICs, which is like super high end, and that's now where we are with Bitcoin mining, and those are the ones that absorb, require a ton of energy, and there's huge like mining farms now because of it. And what I saw with Monero is there was still that ease of mining where you could literally use your CPU or GPU, and it's actually ASIC preventative. So they want to keep the big farms out of this. They want to allow this inclusivity of users to be able to mine and support the Monero network. So that's kind of the beauty behind it. And the other gap that it filled, it was started in 2014. And originally, Satoshi Nakamoto, who started Bitcoin, wanted to include this element of privacy, but they could only do so much. And really, it was designed to be a peer-to-peer cashless system. And the simplicity of Bitcoin is part of its beauty. But for people who don't understand blockchain, blockchain is a public ledger. Literally, it's a ledger, electronic ledger of debits and credits, but all of us, are witnesses to it. So there's this level of anonymity, but it's not 100% private. So there's wallet addresses on there. And depending on how you onboard and offboard your crypto or Bitcoin, that will eventually get into an exchange and then to your bank account, which can be tracked, right? So, people who are talking about, oh, I want to get into Bitcoin because I don't want to pay taxes. The IRS it knows what's going on, and they're creating AI and software that's going to be able to track all this stuff easily and then audit our tax returns. So, that's one of the benefits, and also the detractors of blockchain technology is there's not 100% privacy. So Monero, yes, solve that problem. With privacy, it's still proof of work. The people are mining it, and now we have this opportunity if you know how to do it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
So I can take another question for you and set up the meeting, and let me peek at this chat too.
Yeah, that's awesome. And for those of you, since Charlie mentioned, the IRS and taxes, I did an incredible meetup a few weeks ago with Paymon of Freedom Law School, Live Free Now. So I would definitely recommend watching that. You can, I can send that replay out, or I'm going to post it I'm just reviving my YouTube channel. I'm going to start posting some of these things there as well. So it was really great.
All
So
right.
Charlie, we have some newbies there too. Like when we say mining of any coin, like what do you mean exactly? How do we mine? Like what's going on in the back end?
Yeah, so blockchain and Web3 technology, basically it's set up for the people. So, people always ask me, oh, well, what gives Bitcoin or, whatever crypto its value? And I answer that with a question usually. Well, what gives Facebook and Google its fundamental value? It's all of us, the users, right? They monetize us in different ways. So we're the product, and then they're selling our data to advertisers, basically. And so in this Web3 model is now um, us, the user base, has an incentive to either help grow the network, share the story, um, participate in the growth, and we get rewarded for that either through token appreciation, or if, like I was saying, you buy a server, a computer, a node, and you actually own part of the network, you can get rewarded for allowing data transmissions and transactions to go through. So we're adding security to the network. We're building that decentralization. So the only way they can shut this down is if they shut down the internet. So this is like the perfect solution for all of us as users. I mean, imagine if you got rewarded for posting, engaging, sharing on Facebook. That's basically
Mhm.
what we have as an opportunity in this new internet.
Yeah. And so we'll be rewarded with Monero tokens in this
Exactly,
case.
exactly. All right, so I'm
Okay.
going to go full screen and not quite. All right, so we got mostly beginners here, which is great. So I'll try not to use too much jargon. All right, and then Francine, let me know if this gets too slowed with all this stuff. I close down as many windows as possible.
Yeah, looks good.
Okay, full screen mode. All right. Cool, cool. So yeah, mining Monero, this is going to be a quick overview, talk about the benefits, and then the plan that we have for all of us as a community. And that's where the real power comes from, you know, which is why I brought all this up as like this new model that we can all participate in. So, here's my disclaimer. Please realize this is not financial advice. So this material is for information purposes only, not intended to provide legal, tax, financial, investment advice. Recipients should consult your own advisors before making these decisions. Charlie Stires, myself, nor Goose Magazine has no responsibility or liability for any decision made or any acts or omissions in connections uh, with this material you're about to receive. Okay, so um, basically, what is, so since there's some beginners here, I did want to include this, so I'm glad I did. What is digital currency and blockchain? Cryptocurrency is digital or virtual currency that uses cryptography for security and operates on a decentralized technology called blockchain. And blockchain is a distributed ledger that records all transactions across the network of computers, providing transparency, security, and eliminating the need for a central authority like a bank. So that's why Bitcoin was started by Satoshi as a solution to the bank failures of 2006, 7, and 8, right? So he started the white paper in '08 and then launched it in '09. So Tyler Winklevoss, if that rings a bell from um, the Social Network movie, if you remember that, the beginning of Facebook, he was one of the guys that battled against um, the Facebook guy. So
Interesting.
yeah, and so he's one of the early. He and his brother were one of the early not founders, but investors of Bitcoin, and their story is actually very cool. I'm blanking on their book at the moment, but the guy that Ben Mesrick, who has a lot of fun books, wrote about the Winklevoss story, and it's pretty fascinating. So his quote is, "We have elected to put our money and faith in a mathematical framework that is free of politics and human error." So that's kind of this whole beginning of it all, and out of that they started Gemini Crypto Exchange. So they've been in the news quite a bit, and he's been a great leader. Another great leader is John McAfee, who has McAfee Antivirus. And if anyone's paying attention, yeah, he's got a weird past. Some of the stuff he's talked about over the years is pretty controversial, but he was very outspoken about crypto, and basically he was captured for tax evasion over in Spain, and he got Epstein. That's one
Mm.
theory, or he did take himself out. Um, but he was a big proponent of crypto and secrecy and privacy. So his quote here that he tweeted: "The U.S. spends our money in secrecy, that they reveal more generalities, yet every penny is scrutinized. The opposite of our Constitution's intent. Cryptocurrency privacy coins are the greatest defense against the corrupt system ever developed. So the only true way to freedom is to become your own bank." I think we can all agree with that. So what are privacy coins? Privacy coins are cryptocurrencies with privacy enhancing features designed to boost anonymity and reduce traceability. They operate similarly to physical cash, but within a digital ecosystem. So, obviously, whatever your thoughts are on that, there is a need and there is a legitimate use case for privacy coin. So, basically, if worse comes to worse, we want to avoid some aspects of authoritarian financial control. I think we all agree with that. If you've been paying attention to this sector, CBDCs, or central bank digital currencies, are coming. The Fed has a coin and system that they're working on, and you can Google this. It's called Fed Now. And who knows what that's going to turn into, but our CBDC will either be called the digital dollar or the Fed coin, some variation of that. My theory is they're going to pull what they did in during COVID and offer us free money to get involved in a digital dollar. And basically they'll say, hey, here's $500, here's $1,000 of our new digital dollar. You just need to download this wallet and we'll deposit your money after you put in your wallet into our interface. Well, if it's on your phone, now they do have financial control. It's blockchain. There is a level of transparency, so they can, in effect, track us. So, when this comes about, we just want to be prepared. So that's another reason why we want to be crypto literate. Is the whole point of what I'm trying to help people do. As part of being financial literate is super important. But now, as we grow into this next evolution, it's going to be important to be crypto literate. All right, so CBDCs and other blockchain-based applications can monitor financial activity and exclude individuals or businesses from the economy. Okay, no one has to raise their hand here, but there's plenty of vaccines, right? And how hard was it for us to even go to an event at your local event center? Or who knows where this could go in the future if there's other restrictions. So this is all building towards this social credit score that's going to basically combine many aspects of our personal lifestyle and our own choices and our privacy. So the other thing it's protecting is sensitive information. There's individuals that may want to obscure their wallet and the wealth contained in there and the purchases to avoid scrutiny. And what if you were to make a donation that someone else doesn't agree with? So people want to be able to give freely, spend their money freely. So these are all needs that privacy coins can give us. All right, so Monero. Monero is a privacy-focused cryptocurrency that was launched in 2014 and is designed to offer secure, private, and untraceable transactions by utilizing various privacy-enhancing technologies. So one of the primary features of Monero is its use of ring signatures. Sorry, I get a little techie on you guys. It's not that you need to know this, but it's kind of cool in a way. And as you hear this more and more, you'll pick it up. So it uses ring signatures, stealth address, and confidential transactions, which helps obfuscate the transaction details, making it difficult to trace the sender, receiver, and the amount transaction. This focus on privacy distinguishes Monero from many other cryptocurrencies as it aims to provide anonymity and fungibility. So fungibility is one of those terms that we started to hear more and more with NFTs, or non-fungible tokens. So fungibility means you can just exchange like kind to like kind. So cash for cash, Monero for Monero, Bitcoin for Bitcoin. So the use cases, Monero has gained popularity among individuals who prioritize privacy and confidentiality in their financial transactions, and it operates on a proof of work algorithm, much like Bitcoin, but with the emphasis on privacy features. All right, so proof of work, that's basically what a blockchain consensus is, or consensus means agreement between machine, machine, machine. And so it operates on a decentralized blockchain using ASIC resistant. So ASIC is the mining equipment required for Bitcoin. So it uses ASIC resistant random X proof of work algorithm, allowing for more inclusive mining with standard CPUs and GPUs. So one of the to go back to its popularity of a privacy coin, it is in the top 30 of cryptocurrency market capitalization. So if you were to do the research on it all the way back to 2014, you can see that, you know, it peaked out at close to 500, and it's held its value in this bear market pretty well. And it's currently number 27. And obviously, any of us who are starting to invest in this or mine it want to know that we can easily turn that to dollars or swap it for another coin. So yes, it can be easily sold or exchanged, which is pretty ideal, meaning it's liquid, right?
Charlie, when you say number 27, that's out of like how many tokens? Like 20,000 plus 25, something like that.
Yeah, if you look on coinmarketcap.com, I think there's literally over 30,000 now, which is a nightmare. I know.
Yeah,
Oop,
no,
nice little
that's
typo
meaningful.
there. Yeah, I mean, that's great. So, you know, it's, well known, obviously. And there's a lot of users, and the hope is we bring more into the Monero ecosystem in this community focused effort. All right, so random X allows individuals to mine using standard CPUs and GPUs, meaning an old computer or laptop, MacBook, Chromebook, or how affordable are Chromebooks if you had to go buy one? I mean, this Black Friday, start looking for Chromebook deals that, originally were 500-600 bucks, and you pick it up for 200, 250, 300 bucks, and you can get off and running. So we'll get back to that here in a minute. So this inclusivity promotes a more decentralized mining ecosystem, preventing the concentration of mining power in the hands of few. So who are the big miners of Bitcoin right now? You have these huge operations around the country, around the world. During COVID, I think you guys remember they shut down a bunch in China, but it didn't shut down Bitcoin because there's plenty of miners out there. So it kind of proves this point of decentralization. And the other benefit is community access. So CPU mining is accessible to the broader community, allowing enthusiasts with regular computer hardware to participate in securing the network and earning rewards.
Mhm.
All right, so there's a plan for this. Do you have any questions? Anyone put anything in the chat, Francine?
No, I don't see anything except Kendall says, funny, he just deleted Monero blockchain from his computer. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So what's interesting, there's an application on there called XM Rig that kind of went around, and it popped up as a malware, and I'll get to that here in a minute. But basically, all mining software applications look like viruses, because I have a feeling these big corporations or the big boy club don't want us mining. So it's kind of interesting that that's popped up, and you can see that if you do a search on mining software, it'll always say how to remove. So this is another reason why we say, hey, just put it on a separate computer, because you want to keep it running all the time, because it's bringing in passive income. All right, so with this goes into a planning strategy that we have to do carefully. So kind of just address that. And the cool thing about Monero is it's easiest coin to mine, but it's really difficult to be profitable. The reason that, just remove it, because yeah, literally you're making, 1 or 2 cents a day if you're lucky, but people haven't figured out how to create a strategy. Well, that's where we come in. So basically, this optimization strategy applies to CPU and GPU miners. And the other benefit or necessity is an internet connection. And just like anything, the better the internet connection, the better you're going to mine. So, as we're kind of onboarding people, we want to kind of create some data on, what kind of equipment are you using? Do you have just a normal hotspot, or do you have like the full upgraded package with Xfinity, or do you have like fiber optics? Like, do you have an office that you can set this up at? If you have a better connection, you're going to mine a lot better. So, and the other catch to this, it's proof of work. So, yes, there is some work involved. Your computer's doing most of it, but there's a little bit of maintenance. So we have created an SOP, or standard operating procedure, where daily check it, make sure it's running. Maybe twice a week you have to stop and start the application, and then maybe once a week you have to reboot your computer. Not a big deal, but if you're making money from it, you're going to maintain that golden goose, right? So the other thing that we're starting to see are old Bitcoin miners jump into this. And we have two that are coming on board with us, and that benefits all of us, the community. So it's kind of cool to see, as we're creating this strategy, the people who kind of know the talk are like, yeah, we want in. So this has kind of been just a great, almost 2 weeks of where we've been going with this.
Charlie,
So here's,
does it
go ahead.
benefit us because how does that benefit? Because they bring a large community with them and the bigger the pool, or because of
Yes,
technology?
good question, and I will get there.
Okay.
I see. Let me check chat. I did see there's a couple more. Oh, good. Thanks, Travis, for posting that. That's a good question. Monero is not available for purchase. I used to buy Monero. Cool. I will get to those in a minute. Good questions, guys. Yeah, so just put them in there and we'll address those at the end. All right,
Perfect.
so our plan is to perform community pool mining to combine our computer power, which is called hash rate, which will reach larger yields and allow us to scale as a community. So like I was saying, it's very difficult to be profitable, but if we can pool our resources, we can pull this off as a community. And I'll show you a visual of that here in a minute. So mining pools is where we're going to be participating in as a community. And by joining a mining pool, we can provide a more consistent income stream by combining our computational power with other miners. So just be sure to choose a reputable and reliable pool with consistency and with low latency. Um, that's on us. So this is a managed effort by the professionals. So me and a partner, and we got a couple other people, and we're bringing in other leaders too. This is a organized effort, and will be professionally managed. So just know that this isn't just some fly-by-night thing. This is a huge opportunity for all of us. So we're taking it very seriously. So here's kind of the visual that you were kind of getting at, Francine. So if you see here, this is the community hash rate growth. I started out, a few weeks ago, and you can see on the solo hash rate, it was just recording very little, and whoops, my machine went down. And then, got some mining again, oops, it went down again. And then we brought on a couple other users, and then kind of had some gaps in there because we all went down. And then we started hitting more users. And then bam, all of a sudden, this thing is already proving itself where, holy cow, in this pooled hash rate, this is working. And now if you look down here, community pool IDs, this is just, we only do 10 at a time. And we're, maybe have 20 so far, but we're only a week into this. But you can see how dramatically this increased. And this has a chance of being exponential, because part of the algorithm has to do with two things. The first one you can see is the number of people involved. And then the second one is our time in this. So yeah, they don't want to reward us right out of the gate for getting started. So they want to see consistency of mining, this persistency of keeping your machine up and your connection up. Well, doing that on your own can be problematic, right? So, but as a pool, as a community effort, if one goes down and several hundred of the other ones stay up, there's no effect. So that's another big benefit of this community effort. Any questions so far from you, Francine?
No, I think that no, that looks amazing. I'm sure you'll get to the point like how hash rate translates into dollars in our pocket, basically, or Monero, with that. But yeah, no, that answers.
Yeah. So um, basically, the way hash rate works is we have to be in the like megahertz to get good yields. And if we get into hundreds and then even thousands of people, that megahertz can turn into terahertz, and it can be very lucrative as a community. And we're talking, thousands of dollars a day. And then, once our plan is once a month to make a distribution to the community. So this is where, there needs to be other attention um, that needs to be focused in our communication channels, which I'll get to in a minute too. But, you know, if we're making money, we're going to pay attention, right? So, we're big on communication and transparency and keeping everyone up to date and involved. And secondly, this is technology, so it will evolve. There will be needing to be some optimization settings, so things like that. And going back to this slide, um, you can see here under worker on the bottom left, way we're setting it up, yeah, we want a level of privacy. So my name is charlie.cs. So, short for Charlie Stivers, but it should eliminate a lot of overlap, but you'll be in our database that we can either email you or even text you like, hey, your miner went down.
Mhm.
Hey, your miner's been down for 3 days. Hey, your miner's been down for a week. So, it's like, we don't let down the community is the point. And it helps you. So let's
What's
let's
the
get
valid,
into, go ahead,
no,
sorry.
like the valid shares column and then the column next to it? What does that stand? What does
Hmm.
that mean?
So, whoops. Let's see. Okay, so valid shares, and I should have taken a screenshot of my miner. And basically, it's a very simple interface. It's not as I took some snapshots from the pool interface, which is very confusing to understand. But the mining interface is very simple. And as we get into the setup of it all, I think we've made it pretty simple. The Chromebook setup is very simple, and you don't have to be a tech whiz. And we did a video, and we have a lesson plan to walk through, and then also a little bit of the history, the benefits of this that get boring in a presentation, but you need to read it. But the
Yeah,
valid shares,
just
um,
so everybody knows, I went through all of that and I was so impressed, Charlie, how you put together all of that step by step, super simple, that anybody could connect and get this started. That there's a whole little mini course around it, you guys, that Charlie and maybe his team put together, but it's awesome.
and it's free. I mean,
Yes.
we're excited about this. I mean, I mentioned cryptocurrency for the people.com. This whole journey has been about the people for me, and that's what I took from working with my clients over the years too. And this is like the best solution ever that I've seen, where the community can really support each other and grow together. Um,
Mhm.
but Francine, you were asking about these valid shares versus invalid shares, and that's one of the things that you have to monitor daily. If you see, in your mining, you'll see how many shares you gain, and then it'll maybe have one, two, or three invalid or rejected shares. But if that rejected share to valid share ratio starts to get closer together, then yeah, you need to stop the application and restart it. Or like I said, you know, halfway through the week, reboot your
Mhm.
computer or something like that. So that's one thing that we do need to keep our eye on.
Yeah. And I'm sure you guys will educate on all of that stuff. So,
Absolutely. All
mm.
right, so let's talk about some of the benefits of pooling CPU hash rate resources together in mining pools, which offers several benefits for all of us as miners. So we have the consistent earnings I mentioned before. If someone goes down, um, if you were to go down individually, yeah, you would not be mining. So mining pools combine the computational power of multiple miners, increasing the chances of solving the puzzles and earning rewards more frequently. The reduced variability So the rewards in individual mining can be highly variable. Joining a pool provides more predictable and steady income streams. Access to network power. This is the truly the power behind this. Pooling resources enables small miners or those with limited computational power to participate in mining process more effectively. It allows them to contribute collectively to the network security and get a share of rewards proportional to their contributed hash power. Lowering entry barriers. Joining a mining pool reduces the threshold for entry into mining and enables newcomers or those without high-end hardware to participate and receive rewards as they contributed to the pool's overall hash power. So, the one thing that we'll address here is it's the one thing that's going to be hard to manage, where it says on number 3 towards the end, the rewards proportional to their contributed hash power. This we're also managing expectations. So, we're basic part of the value that we're bringing. So two things. One is basically our secret sauce, and two is management. So there's Bitcoin miners out there right now who have expensive hardware, high energy bills, and they're lucky if they're making 250, $300 a month for their mining rigs. If I can show them how they can make 5,000, $2,000 a month with their current setup, are they going to be butthurt if they're maybe making double that, but they're contributing to the community in a better way and they see this power of community? So this again goes back to don't be greedy. Let's keep this golden goose alive. You're making way more money than you were. And hey, you even have some left over. If you want to still buy a Bitcoin, now you can do it outright. So, that's part of, what we have to do as community managers and again, manage their expectations. So there is a lot of value in these bigger miners coming on board with us. But again, that's part of our job is like, hey, let's be realistic with this. Because, part of this application that we have is even optimizing it even better. They could go off on their own and try mining it, but they're not going to see the rewards like they would in a community effort. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, 100%.
Cool, cool. And does that sound fair?
Yes, yeah, for sure.
Cool. So yeah, and I do want to get more feedback in this whole vision of what we're trying to create. And to me, that makes sense. I mean, that's what I would want if I had, an expensive mining operation and wasn't seeing yield.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know it sounds really good, Charlie. I'm excited.
Cool, thank you. All right, so again, the rest of the benefits, the consistent earnings, simplified setup. This really doesn't get any easier than using a Chromebook and an old laptop or MacBook. And what's interesting about the Chromebook is part of my best practices in working with my clients was, hey, yeah, you can get these cold wallets, but the way I do it, and this worked out great, about 2 years ago, is I bought a separate Chromebook for just my crypto. It was a $250 investment, but I don't have to mess with anything. I leave it at home. I don't have to work with public Wi-Fi's. So the Chromebook solution is a great route to go if you want simplicity, you want a new device, and things like that. So this simplified setup, it's easy to use software and configuration, making it simpler for miners to connect their hardware and start mining without dealing with the complexities of setting up and configuring mining software. So the community and support, I mentioned support and professionalism. Mining pools also often come with communities of support networks where miners can exchange information, seek help, and stay updated on latest developments and strategies. So there's other communities within the community that we're involved in that I think you guys you have access to them. But it gets pretty, a lot of jargon, pretty high level. So it's not great for a user where, we take these complicated information and make it simple for you to understand. So that's one of the other values that we bring to the group. And then diversification of risk. It's a big one, obviously. By spreading the risk across a pool of miners, the impact of hardware failures or other issues affecting a single miner is mitigated. The collective mining power of the pool ensures a more stable operation. I think that makes sense, and it's a good way to kind of wrap up what we've just discussed. The other thing
Mhm.
too, diversification of risk. I think many of the people on here already are investing in some way through third-party asset management. Maybe they're dabbling in crypto. But how cool is to have house money to invest with? And that's
Mhm.
one of the reasons I like this. Yeah, you probably want to keep some Monero, but decide how much you want to put into Bitcoin or another even third-party management solution, or start, pick your favorite meme coin, whatever you want to do. But the point is, it gives you options.
Yeah, yeah,
So
you're not your own mining, your computer set up, like your direct participation, not that you're sending funds to third-party platform that could just, rug pull. We're in a community together and it's just
yeah,
different. Yeah.
yeah, and you're not out of pocket.
Hmm.
So, again, going back to manage expectations, it is essential to note mining pools charge fees for their services. So you guys will see in the setup that there's like a zero point 0.9. So the pool that we're operating in, they charge their own fee, which is like you don't even see it. And then we will, as this grows, figure out how to maintain our professionalism and keep things running, because we are getting quite the team. And then we'll probably have to offer some kind of bonus for these higher end miners as we grow. um, there are some special settings, our software, that make this even more special. But there's always attrition. We hope to keep the community together by offering more and more value. But we're turning this into a business, and to maintain that professionalism, people need to be paid, right?
Right. 100%.
So while joining the pool can offer these advantages, miners should consider these when evaluating the profitability of mining pool versus mining solo. I think that all makes sense. All right. So develop cryptocurrency literacy to be a solution to various problems. Yeah, I think you guys see some of the problems on the horizon. And in my opinion, crypto is a big solution to all those problems. Would love it if you checked out goosemag.com. You can subscribe for free to the magazine. And this mining for passive income on the right hand side, this income stream to hold or swap your favorite coins, I just addressed that earlier, is a great solution. And then where we are pointing everyone to specifically for mining Monero is miningforthepeople.com. So super excited that was available to maintain our branding with cryptocurrency for the people. All you need to do is subscribe and register your account, and then develop your game plan. As you read through it, you'll see what fits best for your lifestyle and your current setup, and you're on the way to start mining and build the wealth that you control. If you do have any questions, you can reach out to me on hello@goosemag, and we can uh, answer your questions as best as possible. I know there's going to be some management with that. I have Goose Mag, which is my primary business. We do have the team going that's going to be able to help with some of the technical stuff. Um, but this is just the beginning for all of us.
Yeah, that's awesome, Charlie. Great, great presentation. And there's a couple of questions. Like when I asked you about the Chromebook model and stuff, can you speak to like how, you don't want to like the basic, you get one for a couple $100. Like what's the difference between a super cheap Chromebook and one that you're going to pay 500 for or something?
So to give you a good example, one of our best miners in the pool right now is running on Windows 8 laptop. And he fixed it up. Like, he thought it was trash, he fixed it up, and that thing is screaming. So because he's got a good internet connection, so the argument is the internet connection is probably more valuable than the device itself. So
Mhm.
there, I see some questions here on specs, and the specs really don't matter too much. Obviously it would perform better if you have a better device. So don't go the cheapest route if you have the means to get a decent machine. Um, One of the other best ones was, it was literally a $600 Chromebook that he got on sale like 2 weeks ago for 250. So look for the higher end ones that are on sale. Or
Mhm.
if your old laptop is a good machine, do a factory reset, clear all that crap out of there, and now it's your crypto machine, it's your mining machine. So those are some of the better ideas that we're kind of guiding people toward.
Yeah, and when you register with Charlie, you'll have access to that course. And could you speak to, Charlie? I don't know how this is developing on the back end, but if people, because obviously when we grow the pool, it's advantageous for everybody. Is there like a little sharing incentive if somebody's like bringing friends on board? Like, how is that? I know you were thinking about that.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be pretty hard to manage.
Yeah.
And then honestly, it's a little scary. John McAfee, he was pretty outspoken about all this, and this whole privacy coin thing.
Mhm.
I mean, it could be outlawed in the U.S. But then, what does
Mhm.
that say about our country? They have problems about privacy, and they're in violation of our constitution. So that's why it's not outlawed yet, because they don't want that to be an issue. Um,
Mhm.
so it's going to be a little game of politics here going forward into all this, and then to see where they try to limit us or stifle us with regulations.
Mhm.
This is also part of the beginning. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, yeah. And if you're rewarding people for sharing, sometimes that's gray area with, offering investment advice. And so,
Yeah. So I don't want anybody to target. We're already public with the magazine, so we're not getting into anything that the FTC can mess with. We have a referral component on the membership side with Goose, where we do bring in clientele and other community members who want to learn. It's 500, 1,000, and 2,500. And those, we do have a 20% kickback on the first level, and then a 10% on the second level. So yes, there is some incentive to plug in and learn crypto the right way, more traditional crypto. And there's tons of opportunity. We uncover a lot of these in the magazines and through blogging. And then it really goes into all these different wallets that we have access to, different strategies. And, we're all different. I'm working with a
Mhm.
client today who's just shy of 6 figures, and he just wants some help. Some of my best clients are people who got involved already, and they're just too scared, and they want some direction. Um, so there's going to be value in that. And for some of you who have some experience, we're looking at setting up a DAO, which is a decentralized autonomous organization, and part of the mining pool will feed into that. So again, there's other incentives to join the Goose community, and we're already beefing up the reserves there. So as you guys learn about all this, DAOs are basically LLCs on the blockchain, where we're building another entity for the community, where now with the magazine, we'll have a chance to be a decentralized media company where there won't be any issues with censorship, and we'll be able to build a workforce of contributors, authors, publishers around the world. And we can also vote as a community and build this up, diversify even more. Um, so the sky's the limit. I mean, there's DAOs that have 1 billion in assets. If you guys remember, I think it was about 2 years ago, they started the Constitution DAO, and they were trying to buy the original copy of the Constitution. So there's really cool community efforts that people can collectively come together on and build as a group and a community.
Yeah, I'm so excited to talk to you more about that bigger vision. And then Dan is, I mean, I just love that. Charlie is so good. And Dan is asking, it's not, I think if that other slide, you guys want to take a screenshot of that last slide Charlie had up, because that's how you actually join the pool is you register, sign up with Charlie and go
I'll
through
put it
that
in
course.
chat.
Okay, yeah, great. Put it in chat and then you can get you get started that way, go through the little mini course and you'll know exactly what to do. And Travis, as you have your hand raised. And I'm sorry we're going a little bit over, everybody. I know this is for an hour, but I
I
think
have
we're
time.
good info. Thanks, Charlie.
Mhm.
Hey,
Go ahead,
Charlie, how
Travis.
are you?
Good. Nice to meet you, Travis.
Hey, nice to meet you. A couple questions. My first one was addressing security. Obviously, we would just be on your whatever VPN. I personally use Proton, but how does that look for cyber attacks and things of this nature when you're in a pool for mining? That's my first question.
Yeah, we've never seen an issue with that. There was a Monero community wallet that was hacked. That was like the primary wallet, and there are always targets like that. The wallet that we have is on a device right now, and that's why we want to make distributions as often as possible, because we don't want to have thousands, then eventually millions in there at one time. So, we'll have security practices built into this, but individually, this is all decentralized, where that's one of the built-in security mechanisms, where there's thousands of other participants in there, and they would have to hack all the machines. And that's the beauty with blockchain, is
Right.
you basically have to infect all the machines.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I just wanted to bring that up because I know that's